Club Series 2015. Warrington concede the first try. It's Tyson Frizzell. Monaghan must score here. Oh, that's a superb tackle. And here goes Gareth O'Brien straight through the middle. Oh, O'Brien! Oh! That's a monster. Atkins! Brian Atkins has scored for Warrington. Oh my goodness. Benji Marshall. Marshall with the reverse kick. Oh, it's going to be a try. Myler was flattened as he got it away. Monaghan! Joel Monaghan could not reel it in. And the spoils go to the Dragons.
It was heartbreaking yet heartwarming at Warrington. A thrilling start to the 2015 World Club Series as the Wolves came up just short. So now the honour of the Super League rests fairly and squarely on Wigan's shoulders as they renew hostilities with the mighty Brisbane Broncos. Then tomorrow the World Club crown will be decided as the best of Super League and Australia go head-to-head for the title itself. St Helens entertained Russell Crowe and South Sydney at a sold-out Langtree Park. No ticket? No worries, it's live on Sky Sports 1 from 6:45. And you know, Warrington Wolves were determined to get this World Series of 2015 off to the best possible start. Result-wise, it didn't quite work out for them. St George Illawarra Dragons prevailed, and that means that the Aussies lead 1-0 in the series. So tonight there's a little more than simple bragging rights at stake for both Wigan and the Brisbane Broncos here. Wigan win and the series is all squared up. The Brisbane Broncos win and the NRL has won the series. But whatever happens, it leaves St Helens and South Sydney tomorrow night to battle it out for the World Crown itself. It's been great stuff last night at Warrington. It's going to be equally good tonight at Wigan, and I think it just might touch new heights at St Helens tomorrow. Here in the studio with me is a man who won the World Club crown himself in 1992, and I think, Phil, that still, to this day, from what you're saying last night, is still one of the most memorable, one of the best nights of your career.
It is, yes. I think it's probably one of the best for the whole memories of the club as well. If Wigan were to win tonight, though, Eddie, I think it would rank possibly almost alongside it. Maybe not quite the same, but certainly up there, because Wigan haven't started the season particularly well. But the history and rivalry between the Broncos and the Wigan club really goes back over 20 years now. And for Wigan to beat them here now would certainly be a massive boost to the Super League competition. And a very difficult prospect, though, for Wigan, having started the season well below their standards. You know, 5 years or so ago, when Michael Maguire came to the club, he almost revolutionised rugby league in this country with the intensity and the physicality that he adopted, the approach that Wigan took to the game. They've been stronger and fitter and faster than many of the rivals in Super League for quite a few years now. Will it be good enough here to beat the Brisbane Broncos and beat them without possibly one of the main players, though, Sean O'Loughlin?
Yes, I was going to ask you about that. That's a huge blow for Wigan. The captain is missing tonight. On the plus side, though, they get the usual 6 and 7 back for various reasons, Williams and Smith. And Dan Sargentson returns in the centres. He'll add a bit of zip and a little bit of power, won't he? He's
a great player, Dan Sargentson. I'm delighted to see that he's back. That massively helps Wigan's prospects. You know, the other thing that Wigan have shown over the last few years is their ability to learn. And you sometimes learn from defeat. Now, 12 months ago, they went to play in Australia against the Sydney Roosters in the World Club Challenge, and they lost by... The gap was about 20 points. That was a real reflection, I think, of the gap between the two sides. Have Wigan, in the last 12 months, improved and narrowed the gap to this year's rivals now, the Brisbane Broncos, Corey Parker? They've got a brilliant balance of experienced older international players and some really exciting young ones, and I think that's what makes this game so exciting. The young players in this Brisbane Broncos side, some of the viewers in this country will never have heard or seen of before, but I think at the end of this game they will know all about them.
OK, that's Phil's thoughts from here in the studio. Let us go outside now, go on to pitch side and join Brian and John and get their views on the way things might pan out here.
Yes, thanks very much, Eddie. We're going to talk shortly about one of those young, exciting Brisbane Broncos players that Phil Clark has just referenced. It's the halfbacks that we're going to talk about because the matchup is intriguing. 6 and 7 on both sides see a very young, inexperienced 6 paired up with a more experienced and an international 7. We're going to start and talk with the Wigan Warriors, about the Wigan Warriors, first and foremost. George Williams is back with Matt Smith again, John, after injury and suspension. Tell the viewers what we can expect from those two players on the Wigan Warriors side.
Well, certainly from Matty Smith's point of view, he's the most experienced of the two. Great organiser, good kicking game, provided that his forwards set the required platform and there's enough speed around the ruck. George Williams is anything he wants to be, hasn't he? And I think it's telling that Sean Wayne said, he's going to have as long as he needs to cement a place and become a legend in that number 6 shirt. It is intriguing that we're going to have those two sets of halves, and they are both effectively new partnerships, aren't they? Because Matty Smith and George Williams have only played, I think, 1 or 2 games together in anger because of suspension and injury. Of course, George Williams missed last week. George Williams very much a ball runner, I think. I mean, he played a lot of his early rugby in the hooking position when we saw him last year. The organising will come from Matty Smith, and that's how it should be, I think, to start with. Take the pressure off George and allow him to play his natural game. And the same is probably, you could say, for the Brisbane Broncos as well.
We look at the Brisbane Broncos half-pack partnership. Of course, it has Ben Hunt, a tremendous 2014, statistically the best 7 in the NRL competition. He was an Australian international by the end of the year. He's paired up with the exciting new signing for the Canberra Raiders. We've known him as a fullback, Anthony Milford. They've bought him as a 6. How do you think he'll slot into their side?
I think he's got the best possible support off the field, hasn't he? Darren Lockyer there was quoted, Tony Ray was talking to us off camera earlier today, saying that Darren Lockyer had sat down with him and said, I'm going to make you into a 6. Obviously one of the most famous transitions from fullback to 6 that we know in the modern game. And then on top of that, you've got Hunt there, who I think is an absolutely fantastic player, natural rugby league player, if ever you've seen one, and really can spot a hole in a defensive line, so we're going to have to work very hard against him. I just think that together, again, there's a bit of a risk there with Milford at 6, but he is one of the most exciting prospects in the NRL for a very good reason. He's a superb player. Yeah,
there's defensive questions about Anthony Milford, Eddie. I think he's going to resemble a stretch of the M62 by the end of the night with the amount of traffic that the Wigan Warriors send his direction. We will see. 40 minutes coming up shortly.
Well, let's hope he blocks or doesn't block as much as the M62 does, Brian, on a weeknight. Now then, let's hear from the two coaches, shall we now? Wayne Bennett, who is the elder statesman of the game, of course, worldwide, and Sean Wayne, who is hoping tonight that Wigan and the Super League prevail.
He's really focused, Rob. They're ready for this game. They train well all week, and regardless of what happened to Warrington last night, we want to win this game. We want to perform really well and push Super League, you know, the way it should be pushed. It's a great competition, and we want to make sure that Brisbane see the best of Wigan Warriors.
Wigan versus Brisbane has a very special place in the heart of everybody that supports or plays for or works at Wigan Rugby League Club, doesn't it? You're aware of that?
Oh yeah, massively. They're a great club, we're a great club, the history is superb. I mean, and with this competition as well, Rod, to be honest, it means a lot to the Wigan people, and you'll see tonight the atmosphere is going to be fantastic, and all my players are pumped and ready for it.
Well, for us it's the start of our season, so we've got a long journey in front of us. I'm just want them to compete really well and just control the football, and that'll give us some chance of playing to our potential if we can do that.
Your first spell at Brisbane was obviously the most glittering spell in the history of virtually any rugby league club with 6 premierships. What are your ambitions this time around?
I'll win some more of those. It won't be that easy, but it's the starting point tonight for us.
And just a final thought, last night the NRL club, St George Illawarra, came out on top. Will that impact anything at all tonight?
I'll probably make Wigan a bit more keen to beat us, but other than that, no, it's a good game of football actually, I thought, for this time of the year with regards to ourselves, but the Australian clubs having played so little, so I was pleased with that. I was pleased with the quality of the game, and I hope we have a quality game here tonight so everybody can enjoy it.
Sure, it will be a quality game. Let's see the names of the men that Wayne and Sean have named for this match. Here is the Wigan side. Well, no skipper Sean O'Loughlin, who was ruled out on Thursday. They do have got some big names returning, though, for this. Matty Bowen at fullback, Charnley, Gelling, Sargentson, one of them, Burgess, and then the usual for this year, 6 and 7, George Williams and Matty Smith. They come back together again. Up front for the Wigan Warriors, a change because there's no O'Loughlin. John Bateman filling in at loose forward. The fact that Sargentson is playing, of course, means that Joel Tompkins can operate in his usual or more usual second row position, and he captains the team tonight. Dom Crosby, Michael McAlorum and Ryan Sutton up front, with Tompkins, Liam Farrell and John Bateman completing the scrum. And then on the bench for Wigan, it's Tony Clubb, Talima Tautai, he missed last week, he comes back as well, Lane Patrick and Logan Tompkins, coach Sean Wayne. Now the men from the Sunshine State, Brisbane backs look like this: Jordan Kahu, Daniel Vido, Aaron Whitchurch, Justin Hodges and Lachlan Maranta, then Anthony Milford and Ben Hunt. The forwards, it's Adam Blair, Andrew McCulloch, who captains the side, and Josh Maguire, Alex Glenn, Sam Thaiday and Corey Parker. And the bench is occupied by Mitchell Dodds, James Garvey, Joe Offengawi and Nodi Nikarima, easy for me to say, and the coach is Wayne Bennett. So there we are. Look at the crowd here at Wigan. It's packed tonight, and probably, even though St Helens have got an 18,000 all tickets sellout on their hands tomorrow, this will be the biggest crowd of this World Series weekend. Some South Sydney Rabbitohs supporters in the stands there you might just have seen as well. So fantastic atmosphere outside. I wonder, Phil, what the atmosphere is inside. Early minutes, obviously, as we saw in the grand final, vital, but Wigan have got to keep hold of their nerve. They've got to keep hold of their tempers.
It is a sport, isn't it, rugby league, where you need to be passionate and aggressive, but you need to somehow try and do that in a very controlled way. And it isn't easy. It sometimes does go wrong, especially with the history and I think the feeling in the town here. Wigan were disappointed that they're not playing in the World Club Challenge, but they've got the next best thing here, an opportunity to beat the Brisbane Broncos. The discipline will have to be good, as will the start of the game. And don't forget, 12 months ago, when they lost to the Roosters, they conceded 3 tries in the opening 22 minutes, and effectively at 22-0, at 18-0 down, the game was over in the latter part of that. So they need to start far stronger, be stronger with the defence and control possession as well as they possibly can in that opening quarter. Give themselves and this crowd who have eagerly anticipated this fixture really something to shout about.
You know, the last time that they met a team from the NRL in this ground, Wigan, 2011, St George Illawarra Dragons, and the Dragons won. Wayne Bennett was the coach that night as well. He wasn't actually here, though. He was back home because of family illness. The Dragons won 21 points to 15. They say never go back, don't they? And Wayne is returning to the place where it all began and was so successful for him.
Well, he must feel that it's right for him, and the club must agree with the same. But it'll be interesting. It's the start of a new journey for him, and yeah, we'll get an indication at the end of this match just whether he can recreate the success that he had when he started out as the Broncos coach. Wigan look pumped, as did this crowd. You can sense it even in the studio here, Eddie. It's a game I've looked forward to for several months here now since it was first announced.
There are some people tipping this will be the most physical battle of the three. Do you agree?
Well, Wigan have dominated in Super League on the back of the physical approach. They've been stronger and played at a higher intensity than many of the other Super League sides when they've been successful. And I guess this will be interesting whether they can compete and match the Brisbane Broncos. I mean, for many years we've been told that the Super League is an inferior competition. Last night we saw how close Warrington and the St George Illawarra Dragons were. That game could have gone either way. Wigan here now have an opportunity to prove that the Super League is as good, if not better at times, than their NRL counterparts.
Well, that's the big debate, isn't it? Which is the best league in the world? You know, the World Club Series will settle a few arguments. The club is steeped in history. Double winners a couple of seasons ago. There's no doubt that the two leagues are getting closer. Witness that match we had last night. They are, there's no question.
And at the end of this game, Eddie, I want to be sitting in this studio, not talking about a brilliantly talented young Australian player who we'll hear about, but a brilliantly talented Wigan player who we're going to hear about and see for the next few years, who is a world-class performer. To do that, they need to seize the opportunity they're given here. You can't sit back and wait for something to happen here. When Wigan won in Brisbane, young players like Jason Robinson took their opportunity when it was in front of them, whizzing past Wendell Saylor and scoring a pretty famous try that helped to seal the victory. And a young Wigan player tonight will have to do something extra special. It's about doing the extra 1% to get them a victory and a chance here of making it 1-1 in the series.
Well, there we are. Speaking of 1994, that's a trophy you remember well, Phil. You must have had a couple of drinks out of it, I'm sure, and probably bought by Sean Edwards as well. And isn't that Gary Connolly out there as well? I can see somewhere. Mick Cassidy there. It looks like the class of 94, so you should be out there with them.
Well, there are, yeah, one or two of the players who, Nigel Wright as well, one or two of the, Martin Dermott, who was the hooker when they started that game in 94, so let's hope that gives a lift to the young Wigan players who come out now, but they will have to play at a really high pace because I think Brisbane will start this game quickly.
Who do you think is the young Wigan player we'll be talking about? Williams, Sargentson?
Dan Sargentson. Dan Sargentson for me. He's hopefully, I was with him last week when he didn't play. We were here for the game against Huddersfield. He said he was ready and couldn't wait for this match, so I'm hoping his preparation's gone well. And Matty Bowen, the veteran Australian fullback, maybe just gives them a calming go really, because this will be fast. It's about controlling your emotions. And you need a little bit of self-talk as well here. There's a lot of people, the coach gives a message, the captain can pass on a message, but you need to focus about what's important in your head here to start this match well.
There was no suggestion last night that St George Illawarra were on pre-season friendly mode. You know, the default setting for Brisbane tonight is that this is a challenge. This is a World Club challenge in anything but name only.
It is, and I thought at the end of the game last night, the biggest difference was just the accuracy of the attacking kicks that the Australian side put in. So I'm sure the Wigan kickers, who know that their responsibility is to put the ball into those parts of the field, know that when it gets to the kick, they have to make them as accurate as they possibly can and hope that the chase and the competition for those is equally as strong as when they're receiving the ball.
OK, well, they took a while to emerge from the dressing room, but they're out there now, and so it's time just about for battle to commence. Wigan against Brisbane. Off to the commentary box. Phil is on his way now. He's making his way up there alongside Barry McDermott, Tony Ray and Bill Arthur.
There's a crowd of over 20,000 here at the DW Stadium to see Wigan Warriors and the Brisbane Broncos renew what is a great sporting rivalry. As Warriors coach Shaun Wane has already said on Sky Sports this evening, this is a match that resonates not just in this part of the northwest of England, but among rugby league followers. Wigan against Brisbane, they have had some almighty confrontations down the years. This could be another one, and referee Phil Bentham will be the man in charge of it. The honour of Super League is at stake. Shaun Wane and his men, after Warrington's narrow defeat last night to St George. Dan Sargentson back in the sides, Joel Tompkins back in the game, and this is what surely he returned from rugby union to be part of. Young Broncos as well, experiencing something new for them. The coolest man in the tunnel before this game was Matty Bowen. He's been a thorn in the side of the Brisbane Broncos in his North Queensland days. Will he be so again tonight? Sharing a joke, but the smiling stops now as we're underway in this World Club Series game at the DW Stadium. It was Bowen who kicked us off. It's the Broncos with the first touch of the ball. They've had a good week's preparation, based in London and doing a lot of their training in the surroundings of Harrow School. Here is Sam Thaiday, seen plenty of this country on his Kangaroos tours. Thaiday knows very well himself what this is all about here tonight. They'll be looking to his experience and to that of the man in possession at the moment, Kiwi international Adam Blair as well. There might be some green players in this Broncos side, this new-look Broncos side that Wayne Bennett is putting together, but there are also some players who have experience. There is one of them, Ben Hunt, as he hoists that kick, and Bowen comes for it and lets it bounce. And this pitch, I have to say, well, by Wigan standards, it's not at its best. It has had snow on it earlier on today, and they had to clear that snow before they could go to work on the pitch. They also had a soccer match on it last night. That's for our viewers in Australia. Wigan Athletic against Charlton Athletic played on this ground last night, so the ground staff have really had their work cut out to prepare this pitch. It's soft and a bit spongy in places.
And that might affect the game plan or strategy from the Broncos. You saw in that opening minute, it's a very simple territorial plan to get as far forward as possible, kick the ball and trap the Warriors near their own end of the field. Wigan now have come up with a mistake, a little bit similar to last night, and the Warriors now need to switch on quickly in defence.
I think it was Gelling who lost the ball in the tackle and gifting possession back to this Brisbane side in the danger area. They're only 20 metres out. There's the incident. Brisbane then right in front of those posts as Corey Parker takes the tackle. Right knee heavily strapped. Here is Sam Thaiday now. Barreling run from the second rower. Great opportunity earlier on. Parker, Hunt. Here is Adam Blair. Wigan right back on their own try line now. This is on the last. Kick coming probably from Milford. Milford, little grubber kick comes in. Still on the last. They've still kept the ball alive. They change directions to the other wing. Daniel Vito will challenge for it, but it's well dealt with.
Well, Joe Burgess did what he had to do, get back into the field, so he'd taken it in the in-goal area, which allows then Wigan to restart on the 20-metre line. He ran there quickly and knows that Wigan on this set now must get forward to the halfway line at the very least.
Warning, though, for the Warriors there that they cannot afford to squander possession, especially in a danger area like that. Here goes Gelling looking to atone for that earlier error. The Cook Islander, Anthony Gelling. Here's Matty Smith back in the side after a one-game suspension. And Matty Bowen now. Bowen to Sarginson. Sarginson to Burgess. Burgess trying to give Vito the big hand off, but the Brisbane Broncos winger clings onto him. This is a good set from the Wigan Warriors now. Here is Williams. Williams to Smith. Smith straight up the middle. On the last as Smith puts the kick in. And the ball is gobbled up by the Broncos defenders.
And Bill, we saw the pattern there from Wigan Warriors, looking to shift the ball. I went towards the Broncos. Did you see a mistake? Play on.
Free play there. One of these quirks of Super League rulings, the free play, but they'll come back, Stuart.
Yeah, that's right. In Super League, we have a complete advantage to be played. It's not just one pass and your advantage is over. You can keep going until the opposition get the ball, and then it's brought back and you get the scrum.
Voice of former referees controller Stuart Cummins, just putting us straight. And
wow, this is a big chance for Wigan.
It was Aaron Whitchurch, wasn't it? Took his eye off the ball, and the Warriors with some great play, wasn't it, to get up outside their opponents, have another 6 players here now to get the first points.
Here's Liam Farrell, and a direct run from the Wigan Warriors second row. Liam Farrell set the Broncos defenders back on their heels, that did. Williams now. Williams takes them on himself. Turned on his back. But good back-to-back set this for the Wigan Warriors. Here's Matty Smith. Smith brings it back across the field. Don Crosby now. The 24-year-old prop forward plays the ball. McIlorum. Williams fires the pass to Sarginson, and Sarginson is stopped in his tracks. He got the ball and he got the tackle as well there from Justin Hodges. Williams, change of direction from him. Here is Bowman playing it loose forward in the absence of Sean O'Loughlin. A big absence that is for the Wigan Warriors. Their captain O'Loughlin out. That's the 5th tackle. Good defence this from the Brisbane Broncos. Still on their own try line. Smith will kick cross-field. Charnley will challenge for this one. The kick was too deep and comfortably dealt with by Lachlan Maranta.
Well, it's in situations like that that I feel that they've missed Sean O'Loughlin the most. He's a forward who in the middle can run at defenders, hold them in, and then release the pass. You see, Wigan didn't quite have that player in the middle to do it, and at the end, the kick not difficult enough for Brisbane to clear their own line.
Samoan international Daniel Vito, who's just turned 25, plays that ball. Still waiting for the first points of this game here at the DW Stadium. Second match in the World Club Series.
Both sides in this game have fed off errors down and good attacking opportunities. The early indication is you're going to need back-to-back opportunities to break these defences. Both are respected defences, and so they're going to take more than that. That's when that kicking game becomes important. One thing for Wigan would not be to kick out to Lachlan Miranda's side of the ball. He's super under the high balls, and he'll take them all day.
Still on the last, says referee Bentham. Maguire gets the pass away. Hunt hoists it. And it's well claimed by Burgess, but Burgess tracking across in front of his own post has lost the ball. And McCulloch has come up with it. Referee Bentham is going to have another look at this, or ask the video refs, I think, to have another look at this and see how that ball came loose. Burgess going across in front of his own post. Now the referee, I think, thinks that this is a try.
He thinks it's a try, but he's had a call from the side that there could have been a knock-on the pickup, so I think that's what they're looking at. But he's already sent it up as a try, so I think that's the feeling on the field. But certainly it's from a kick, so they're all onside, all the chasers are onside going through. They're entitled to tackle Joe Burgess. As he gets on the floor, at what point does the ball come out? Is the tackle complete when the ball comes out? Right, he loses the ball on contact, so it's still play on. Who picks the ball up? It doesn't look like a knock on there. I think this will be a try.
It's a great tackle, isn't it, by the opposite fullback. Up, making sure he gets involved in the defence. The ball comes free, and the hooker, well, that's a pretty simple score for him. Pick up and put down. First 4 points for the Broncos, no doubt about that.
Andrew McCulloch, nearly 150 appearances for his only club, the Brisbane Broncos, and he's got the first try of the night. Was not McCulloch not the man standing to the left of the kicker and in an onside position when that ball went up?
Well, I think he was in onside. I think he was just behind the kicker as it went up. There was a man inside him that I think was in front, but certainly him going through, he was onside at the time.
Well, it's a good bit of ad-lib from Brisbane here. You see it going through a host of hands, and Josh Maguire takes it into contact, offloads it, then the decision comes to put it up in the air. Let's have a gamble. And Joe Burgess, who 12 months ago played in the game against the Roosters and had a magnificent game, makes an early mistake, much like Warrington did last night. It's about how Wigan will come back now.
Corey Parker, no-nonsense conversion from him, and he adds 2 more points to that try from McCulloch, which has given the Broncos a great start here.
When you reference the mistake that Joe Burgess made, he's got plenty of time, as his teammates, to make up for this. The lesson they had to learn from 12 months ago was not to concede again here now in short space of time. Territorially, they need to get out to their own half and play near their own try line. We've seen how dangerous St George Illawarra Dragons were last night, and the Brisbane Broncos have shown early on they'll capitalise on any error.
Andrew McCulloch getting his first try since he got 2 against South Sydney last April. There is Joe Burgess. Well, we have seen right from the word go here when Anthony Gelling lost the ball early on for the Wigan Warriors. We've seen a few errors.
Well, he's been penalised, is it? Joel Tompkins for a high tackle. The ball came free, slammed to the ground.
Denying it, Joel. As he goes in, there's good contact. In the action of putting it down, there was possibly a hand on the ball.
It's the ball steal that he's penalised for.
So Brisbane enjoying the better of things in the opening 10 minutes or so here at the DW Stadium. They lead by 6 points to 0. That try from McCulloch converted by Corey Parker. And it's Brisbane coming forward once again with Justin Hodges, one of the seasoned campaigners in this Broncos side, and on whom a lot will rest in this forthcoming NRL campaign. McCulloch across the field to Milford, the big close season signing. Whitchurch has got Lachlan Maranta outside him. Maranta comes back in field. This is threatening, this is dangerous, as the Brisbane Broncos keep this ball alive, and Maguire goes straight up the middle, heading for the posts.
Brilliant play, wasn't it? Well done by Wigan to hold them out. But excellent way they used the full width of the pitch to come back to the right.
They're on the back foot once again. Sam Thaiday. Good defence from the Warriors. Their supporters urging them on. Little grubber kick, going to be too strong. Very tight in goal areas here. And Ben Hunt just couldn't hold that one back.
On this occasion, the kick is too hard, rolls out, and a relief for Wigan here. But somehow they need to match their opponents with the speed of the play of the ball. Early on, it seemed in this first 10 that when the Broncos have carried the ball forward, they've got up and played it, and as a result, made more ground and gained the momentum.
Well, just an interesting thing to note there, young George Williams. I think he's going to have his hands full. He's going to have big Sam Thaiday running at him on that first bit of good ball, an organised good ball from the Broncos. George Williams had to tackle big number 12 in your screen there, Sam Thaiday. I watched them train yesterday at Salford. They were working very much on their offload game. They'll be methodical near their own line, but here's where they'll come alive.
Gelling trying to get away down that right-hand side. Matty Bowen. Wigan, having been on the back foot, now venturing into Broncos territory. And Matty Smith this time will stab the kick. And the ball just really slumps into the ground there. It is very soft and spongy, and that ball has come free. The referee will say it's a knock-on. Wigan head and feeds. Brisbane claiming that it was stolen.
Well, Wigan are determined to be the hunters, not the hunted. At their end of the field, they were put under pressure, and they've returned that too with interest. Look, 3 men in there, wrestling around in the tackle. In the end, Dan Sargentson tries to tow it free. The referee says knock on. And it's a great set play here. 6 backs outside the scrum half with an opportunity in space.
provides Wigan with an opportunity now to get some dominance in this game. They've earned some field position with some good defence there. They need to stay down here. If they can't get points, stay down there, get a repeat set and try and build some pressure on the Wigan defensive line.
Matty Smith, Joel Tompkins, Bowen out wide to Charnley, and Charnley. Good defence by Moranta there. But Gelling trying to wrestle his way through. And Wigan camped close to that Brisbane Broncos try line. Short pass looking for Farrell, fired at Farrell, but it was behind him. He was reversing towards the Brisbane line, in fact, the Warriors man. And a let-off for Brisbane, really.
Some signs of optimism, didn't there? Wigan did seem to have time and men on the outside, but there was space created. But this is the element of the game. They've got to try and match their opponents. When they're making hard yards in the middle, managing to win that ruck, win the collision here, and prevent a fast play of the ball that the Broncos seem to enjoy.
Yeah, it was a good run prior to this by Josh Maguire. Made some good yards. Here's Adam Blair.
Bill, the Broncos front rowers have been impressive. Both have been working away in tandem. It's what Brisbane really do well. Roll through the middle of sides with the big packs, and Corey Parker there adding on to it. So they've got over halfway after being under pressure. The nice simple football that Wayne Bennett wants out of them early.
Hunt got the kick away despite the belated attentions perhaps of Liam Farrell.
And a good confident return there by Joe Burgess. Nice pick-up, made ground.
Here is Dan Sargentson, first of the season for Sargentson, been out with injury. Perth-born, of course, but brought up in the southeast of England. Began his rugby league with Hemel Stags and has really made the grade with Wigan Warriors since his move to the northwest. Dumped to the ground he is. Here is Williams, Smith, Bowen, Gelling once more. They're looking to give it some width. But good tracking by Aaron Whitchurch to make the tackle on the last, and Matty Smith hoists this one high, and it's a tempting one as well, but across comes Moranta to claim that one. Bit of push and shove. John Bateman involved.
It doesn't appear as though Brisbane are going to move this ball wide. It's pretty obvious here that man's going to be a one-man pass play and just going to try and stay almost between the goalposts, running down the middle of the field. We're going to compress the defence here now, aren't they? Put 3 or 4 men on the ball carrier.
Well, Terry O'Connor used the word conservative last night, Phil. It's more methodical than anything else. Let's just get away from our own line, try and conserve some energy and save it up for when we've kicked it and it's our time to tackle.
Hunt thumps the ball downfield, had a bit of kicking practice at Crystal Palace soon after the Brisbane Broncos had arrived at Ben Hunt. When the Broncos went down there, they also went to see Palace play Liverpool soon after they'd arrived in this country, so they've seen plenty of the round ball while they've been here. They're not doing badly with the oval either. They lead 6-0 here.
The mental toughness part of the game just starting to kick in when you watch it. The forwards are just off the pace a little bit. There's going to be little cracks opening, so everybody's got to stay on here. Wigan will get opportunities. They just need to play field position and come up with no errors.
It's Matty Smith. Tompkins. Again.
This is important.
Massive call, isn't it, on the 5th play here now. We're going to build in that territorial dominance here, spending more time in their opponent's half than in their own. Joel Tompkins is held down. He's desperate to get up and play quickly. Brisbane can't do that.
And Phil, that's what Brian Carney was talking about, putting traffic towards Anthony Milford, making sure he's got decisions to make. On that occasion, it was just Joel Tompkins running right over the top of him.
So Gelling takes the tap. Been very much involved for the Wigan Warriors, Anthony Gelling, so far this evening. Here is Crosby. He plays the ball about 8 metres out. Matty Smith. Change of direction from him, finds McAlorum. Back with Smith. Now it's with Williams. Williams, little chip kick over the top. Beautifully taken by Burgess. Has he atoned for that error that gifted the Broncos a try? Phil Bentham peering into the massive bodies there and saying that Burgess was held up. He couldn't get the ball down. Great defence in the end for the Broncos.
great play on both sides, wasn't it? The attack and the anticipation from Burgess, but how does Hodges hold him up? Well, in fact, does he? Their arms and legs underneath it, and in the end, the ref's made a call. He does well to take the kick from George Williams, but he's spun over, and Hodges, well, he's got the strength just to prevent him from grounding.
Play continues, though. And that's lifted the crowd here. Burgess so close. It was his error that led to that Broncos try from McCulloch.
5. Release now, Corey.
On the last now.
Goal 5.
And Smith again. Almost came off last time. He'll go for this one again, but the ball's batted down. Sarginson will try and retrieve it. He's going to be all wrapped up, and that'll be the turnover. Disappointing end to that. What looked productive for Wigan at one point.
Well, Wigan trying to bat that ball back into the field of play. I'm not sure whether it would have been better just pouching it and having a go himself. But again, Tony, you were talking about building pressure, making Brisbane use some of that emotional energy that they've come into the game with.
Absolutely, I felt that was the ideal time just to run a little grabber kick into the end goal and make Brisbane have to clear it away from there and defend. When Brisbane gave that penalty away just on halfway, 4 of their forwards with their hands on their knees, they're tired, they're ready to break, but they're spreading the ball and moving it. They're really trying to throw it back at Wigan now, aren't they? Moving it side to side, looking impressive.
Well, this soft pitch is going to be telling, surely. Going is heavy. Here is Blair, the Kiwi international, twice a World Club Challenge appearer with the Melbourne Storm against Leeds. Adam Blair, that kick is hoisted. Bowen slipped as he came to collect it. And it's still alive for the Broncos. It's with Thaiday. Thaiday trying to get it away. Play on. And it's in Wigan's hands with 6 tackles to go.
Well, good start, isn't it? You know, Wigan, they've recovered from the tries they've conceded here now. They're going set for set. So that the Broncos, after 15 minutes of staying in the middle of the field, decided that they were going to play with a bit more width, stretching Wigan's defence. It's a test here now for Wigan's outside backs. In the Super League competition, players like Gelling and the other centres and wingers, very prolific at making ground and helping the Wigan side to get on out of their own half of the field. Here's Joel Tompkins trying to do it. And then maybe the next play shifted it wide. That's what Smith's vision is telling him.
Crosby, Williams now, Farrell. Over the halfway line go the Wigan Warriors. Williams. Bateman's pass is taken by Dan Sarginson, but he is taken very quickly by the Broncos defence. Here is Burgess, but that ball's gone forward. The last pass was forward, and that's a bit of an untidy end to that set for the Wigan Warriors.
Well, trying to play instinctive, didn't he? He thought there was no marker, maybe some space, but the pass was forward and the kick was even worse. So you get the sense, though, both sides here now, after almost blasting one another off the field for 20 minutes, the pace has just dropped. Maybe the gaps are going to open up because both sets of defence has been good. In fact, Brisbane haven't missed a tackle on our records in 20 minutes. That's some achievement.
21-year-old John Bateman with the tackle on 32-year-old Corey Parker of the Brisbane Broncos. Coming up tomorrow night then, the 3rd and final game in this fantastic series over the weekend as the champions go head-to-head. St Helens take on South Sydney. Sold out at Langtree Park, but we will be there from 6:45 on Sky Sports 1, bringing you what should be a fantastic game. This is very evenly balanced. Brisbane just ahead by 6 points to 0. Wigan have had their chance. Couldn't get the ball down, Joe Burgess.
Well, you can see that Wigan have done the homework. They know that Corey Parker, one of the most prolific offloaders in the NRL, probably one of the most valuable players, in fact, as well.
Well, the ball has been spilled. Dan Sarginson kicked it ahead. He was collared by Josh Maguire.
Here we go.
Well, it should be a penalty to Wigan, if anything. I mean, he's going to give possession to Wigan, but I think Josh Maguire got a bit carried away there.
Well, Dan Sarginson's a pretty mild-mannered sort of character. And the referee, Phil Bentham, just taking a report from his officials.
Tackle on the floor, and then the ball comes free, doesn't it? But see, Dan Sarginson thinks he's held back, thrown to the floor. Has a word. Number, but that doesn't worry him.
He's only mild-mannered sometimes, Sargi. He will stand up for his mates particularly, and sometimes himself, as you see on that occasion. He's a heck of a teammate.
Yeah, it was okay. Yeah, it was okay.
You sure?
Yeah, Dan, just come in. Time off there, is it?
Well, the referee is going to have a word with Dan Sargentson.
Okay, it's going to be the
He's talking to Justin Hodges.
He was already tackled, so it's handover. He's going to play the handover.
And no words with Josh Maguire.
Yeah, I think Phil Bentham's called the handover as soon as he loses the ball in the tackle. And so he's already made his decision, and this is really not much happening at all. So we're going to go with a handover as he blew.
Good on Dan Sargent. Oh, he's not taking no rubbish. He's a very aggressive player, Josh Maguire.
Good offload. Tailima Tautai straight on the field to liven things up. As the guys were saying, it had gone a bit flat. Tautai will liven it up. Making the changes, in fact, Sean Wayne, while the referee was sorting that out, because Tony Clubb is on as well, off the bench. Oh, Bowen couldn't take the pass. Just came at him. I think he was a bit obscured there. Body's in front of him, but he puts his hand up.
Well, Matt Bowen, when he's been that backfield runner, he's chose to catch the ball and pass it straight away. That's too far in front of him. The pass, we see the offload here from Tautai. Starting to open up a little. There's a lot of offloaders on this Brisbane side. You look at Blair, you look at Friday, Corey Parker. That second phase might just be helpful. Defend what Brisbane are going to throw at you, Wigan, and throw a bit back at them.
It's a terrific point, Barry, because it's going to be a big part in this game. The way these defences have gone at each other, they've been real responsible, pushing from the inside, showing up, presenting a good line. So you're looking for something to break it up. It's not going to be shape, it's not going to be plays out the back like Matty Bowen got there. It's going to be a little bit of broken ball, and offload will be the key to it.
Big chance. Terrific defence from Wigan. I think it was Tautai that put the initial shot in. What a bit messy when Brisbane were trying to play the ball. We see, there's the mistake. I think Tony Smith talked about it when he was talking post-match about how Warrington had handled the aggressive phases of the game. He almost wished that he'd had a temperature gauge where he could just turn it down, get back into the game of rugby league.
Here is George Williams now, Liam Farrell. Wigan trailing on their own patch against the Brisbane Broncos, who open their NRL campaign in a couple of weeks' time with a massive game against the Premiers South Sydney. So this is a very important part of their preparations. Williams taking 3 Broncos on, coming off second best. McIlorum back in the side after injury, Michael McIlorum. Here is Matty Bowen. How he'd love to inflict more punishment on this Brisbane Broncos side. He scored 13 tries down the years against the Broncos in his North Queensland days, Matty Bowen. So they will be watching out for him. Little grubber kick, finds Farrell. Farrell with the try.
He hasn't got a problem.
When I first watched it, Phil, my instinct was telling me that he was offside.
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 Well, they're checking the onside, and he's clearly behind the ball. Got to be both feet behind the ball when it's kicked, and I think he's clearly onside there. So they'll just go through to the grounding after this. There's certainly no problems with that. His hands on the ball as it goes down. That'll be a try.
Well, Brisbane have made almost 100 tackles in this game so far and hadn't missed a single one. If they had to break through the defence, it would need a kick, and then a player who just about controls the grounding of that. I think he's going to be given. This will be Wigan's first trial, though. The more they look at it.
Well, don't forget, the referee sent this up as a try, so they've got to be certain. And I think there's enough there to say that his hand's on the ball when it goes down.
Well, there isn't enough conclusive evidence to say it's not a try, which is the rule, isn't it?
That's the point, yes. In our view.
Video refs have looked at it. The try is awarded. Brisbane not convinced about that, feeling as though Liam Farrell had lost control of that at the last minute, but it's been awarded. It's his first of the season. And Wigan Warriors have worked hard for that.
Well, again, here's the messy play of the ball from the Broncos, giving possession to the Wigan side. Now, this is the third time that in good field position they've just chose to nudge the ball behind the line. Young George Williams, there's millimetres in whether he's onside or offside. Liam Farrell times his run to absolute perfection and gets the Warriors back into this ball game. Outstanding work from Liam Farrell as well.
Matty Smith to level the scores then. If he can kick this, he's landed 3 so far in the Super League season, just a couple of rounds old. And Smith is on target, and the scores are level here at the DW Stadium with the Warriors 6, Brisbane Broncos 6.
Well, attacking kicks are very often the difference between two great sides. And I think the kick here from George Williams, one of the youngest members of the Wigan squad, you know what? That's a very difficult skill. Under pressure, when you know there's a man going to hit you as soon as you've kicked it. He does it remarkably well. And Wigan now, well, it's got the crowd back alive in this cold night in the northwest of England.
There's a wonderful bit of teamwork when you think about the work from Farrell. George Williams had the ball in his hand. He had pressure from defenders on the inside, and Farrell led into that space. It gave a great trigger for Williams just to drop it on his toe. Both players, great teamwork, great combining to come up with a wonderful try in these difficult conditions.
Jordan Carr, who came so close actually to denying Liam Farrell that try. It was him that helped dislodge that ball. He just managed to get something down on it.
It's a great point. I think equally, if I was, you want to attack Carr, keep that ball on the ground, though. Keep the little grubbers in behind. Let's not go to the air and try and out-jump Vito and Miranda. Put little balls in and make Carr who chase them and take a cue off that try. You get a very, very opportune penalty here for Wigan.
On the left side, aren't they, for the Broncos? Whitchurch and Anthony Milford won't be enjoying the sight of Joel Tompkins. He's terrorised one or two teams in Super League. A very big man to play out wide on that side of the field, and they're not enjoying the sight of him with the ball in his hand.
6'3", Joel Tompkins.
Not him, it's this by Gelling. He's bigger and stronger again, so it's going to be a difficult time for Milford.
Anthony Milford, of course, the big close season signing for the Brisbane Broncos. Joined from Canberra Raiders. And that's quite a scalp if they can get that Ben Hunter Milford combination going. And look at this combination from the Wigan Warriors. Their tails up after that Farrell try, looking to back up, but Farrell's lost that ball and it's going to get picked up by Hunt, and Hunt will look for some support. Justin Hodges takes play on, but the penalty is conceded, and Tautai just trying to slow things down there.
You got to sense quickly how Brisbane, as soon as the ball went to the floor, they weren't thinking about regaining possession. They were thinking about scoring at the other end of the field, and Wigan did have to work very hard. It was a red alert call. The ball goes to the floor and the opposition get it. The Warriors know they have to respond a little bit faster than they do week in, week out in Super League.
Thinking that Ben Hunt gives you, that's what he's brought to this team as a halfback. He picks it up in the attacks. He doesn't just rest, having defended his line and just conceded a try. In the real addition he's made.
Mitchell Dodds back in action. 2 knee reconstructions. He hasn't made a first-grade appearance for 18 months. He is back out there. Right knee heavily strapped. And Brisbane countering now on the 20 with James Gavet, former West Tigers player, another new recruit. Oh, but Gavet has lost that ball. Fundamentals, gentlemen.
Well, we're going to make sure they've used their shoulders in these sets of tackles building up to this. You mentioned Mitchell Dodds got hit by every single player that was around him. He kept hold of the ball, but James Gavet wasn't as successful, and John Bateman knows that's a bit of a let-off because they don't want to be at this end with the Broncos full steam here.
Hi, John. What's the reaction, pal? Yeah.
That's a let-off for Wigan because the Broncos on the counter had looked threatening.
Penalty here from a scrum. We don't see many of these.
It's the prop forwards kicking the ball out. It's common practice with some of the Australian teams, kicking the ball out from the prop, not letting it get to the hooker. It's always worth a shot. There you go. He can't strike until the ball's gone to the hooker.
I think it was Gavet again. So the penalty allows Wigan to release the grip that Brisbane Broncos had got on them then. Here is Tony Clubb.
Second release.
Once the Greenwich Admirals in South East London. Now here he is playing for the Wigan Warriors in a World Club Series game.
Well, they've been lucky, haven't they, Wigan? Both Tautai and Club as props. They've come on and really made a difference, had an impact.
Tompkins, but couldn't take that pass, and it's snaffled by Moranta.
0.
A lot of errors in this first half from both the sides. So Brisbane keep it simple with Alex Glegg.
Hold. Go on.
They were lucky Moranta didn't get away then.
Will do. Second.
Here's Gave.
Come back. Go.
40 metres out, the Brisbane Broncos. Parker gets the pass away. Ben Hunt.
Arms are out.
Well, Wigan will be happy they numbered up. The right defender was stood in front of the man who he had covered. They held that play. Now they're going to go back. No, one more this side with Sam Thaiday.
4. Release
The big attacking play, the fourth play in 6.
Wait. Go 4.
McCulloch, the Broncos try scorer here tonight. Big hit on Mitchell Dodds. Welcome back. Hunt will hoist this one. Teasing kick. They'll challenge for it. Bowen will come for it.
But that's a good passage of play from Wigan. Good defence. Everybody alert. Everybody working hard from the middle. Is there a knock on?
Well, Joe Burgess has been deemed by the referees. Lost possession.
Relax, boys.
Spoke too soon about Wigan.
Time off. Listen, fellas.
Got to be said, Joe Burgess had a reasonably untidy start to the season. He's coming up with a lot of errors and unnecessary. Yeah, it was actually.
There's a hand in there. Corey Parker.
He's had that ball pulled out there. I think he's unlucky.
Well, he'll be with the Sydney. Well, he's agreed to sign for the Sydney Roosters next year for 2016. Joe Burgess. Could feel hard done by there. Half an hour gone, and the scrum of this little tete-a-tete there.
Separate. Corey, stand back, please. Stand back.
Tony Clubb, I think already with blood around the mouth. Joel Tompkins has been called out. So is McCulloch. The two captains just being asked by the referee Phil Bentham to bring their players under control.
Okay, let's get on with the game.
They'll be head and feet to the Brisbane Broncos in a great attacking position.
Heads in, out.
Half an hour gone. 6 points apiece here. The ball's gone backwards, said the referee, but Wigan have capitalised anyway. They've driven the Broncos back a few metres, but here they come again with Gave.
2, not 2.
Rangy runner, James Gave. Quite a talented basketball player as well.
That's great defence, isn't it?
3,
Wigan need to help make up for the mistake from Burgess here. They've got the numbers to cope. It's all about numbers and angles. What comes at them?
Sam Thaide's coming at them at the moment at a rate of knots. But they stand firm. They're back on their own try line, the Warriors, trying to repel the Broncos. But Ben Hunt across the field finds Milford. Milford's pass is not a good one. Gelling trying to get a boot to it. Well salvaged it was. The referee's wiped the tackle count clean, and Brisbane will come at them again.
Hold. Go. Well done, John.
Well, if you want to win a game in the World Club Series, sometimes you have to stand and fight. This is the chance here now for Wigan to hold and show whether they've got the commitment and the skill to prevent the Broncos from going over. It's a massive minute in the match.
It's a chance for Sam Thaiday. And again, Wigan managed to stop him in his tracks. McCulloch, Hunt's pass. Back with Hunt via Justin Hodges, so they change direction. Here's Mitchell Dodds. Wigan fans loving the resilience their side is showing here, but they are having to be tough because the Broncos are coming at them strongly with Moranta back on the inside to Whitchurch, and Whitchurch is held up.
He's short.
Hunt, Gave, Talima Tautai stands his ground. That's the 5th tackle. Can Wigan hold firm here in the face of relentless Broncos attacking? Up they go for it to the Warriors, and it's claimed in the end by George Williams.
And he stays in the field of play. That's a brilliant effort from him and his teammates, because you saw how many of the Broncos were surrounding him, trying to force him back in goal. Bowen, well, he makes a few metres. The referee thinks that's a high tackle. Sorry, the players from Wigan thought it was a high tackle. Corey Parker might have actually hit him around the head because he stayed down.
Well, there was certainly contact with the head as he went in, and Matt Bowen was very low at the time. But you're still got to avoid the head.
Brave from Matty Bowen, because it was trying to get the ball away from his own try line, but Corey Parker high there.
Well, Patrick Arvan was sent off for a rather similar tackle a few weeks ago when Wigan played against Widnes. And at the very least, it looks like a penalty. I don't know if the touch judge... I could see it here from the commentary box, and I'm about 60 metres farther away than the touch judge.
Well, he's going to give a penalty.
Well, Corey Parker...
He's only given a penalty, though, because he stayed down the play. We've had to stop the clock and review the situation.
Absolutely. It comes back to Kevin Penny and the tackle from last night. There's arguments to say that if he did stay down...
Well, Corey Parker has left the field, but I think he's left the field because he's been actually replaced. There's a case for saying he should be leaving the field under a card of some colour. Sean Wayne incredulous. Should have been at Warrington last night. There's a fair amount of incredulity there.
There's a decent break in play there for Wigan. They've been under pressure for 3 sets in a row there. I want to point out a real courageous play and a real courageous performance going on inside them. It's John Bateman in the 14 shirt. He's moved from an edge to the middle. He's worked defensively. He's moved there. This is the game of the ball now. He has been as tough as you've seen him there. He's been making 3 tackles a set, putting himself in great positions. He shouldn't be playing in the middle. We're now 35 minutes into the game and he's still pumping out great efforts. A really courageous effort.
Matty Bowen seems to be recovered. That kick is one for Charnley to chase, but good cover from the Broncos. They know the threat that Josh Charnley poses with 130 tries in 120 games. But he hasn't had a chance so far tonight. But the Warriors have come from one end of the field to the other. Logan Tompkins is on for Wigan. He'll get involved now. Williams again tries the kick, comes off Friday, still on the last. It's with Bateman. Bateman gets the ball back, keeps it alive. Still on the last, crossfield kick. Looking for Gelling. Gelling goes up, the ball comes down. This could be threatening. Moranta, but he runs into Tony Clark.
It was threatening for Moranta. Saw who's in front of him. Great pace to this game, though, hasn't it? Speeded up here now in the last few minutes. Broncos being asked to defend their line as Wigan were, and the crowd are really lifting here now for the final few minutes of this first half.
Listen to the crowd here at the DW Stadium. This is really ratcheting up now.
Another one from Tony Clubb.
And Clubb is down on all fours. He came off second best in that.
Well, Tony Clubb's done that since he entered the arena. He's just a little bit dizzy. The marbles are going round and he's saying, get away from me, to the physio.
Well, this takes a lifting in the tackle here, and a dangerous one. There's 3 or 4 Wigan players toe-tying them. They do lift him and slam him on the back.
It was a clash of heads, in fact.
Yeah, Tony Clubb, I think it was clash of heads first, but it's the lift of the legs that's been penalised on that one.
Just watch the lift to leave here. Hold, go.
Tony Clubb still out there. Sam Friday. Sargentson it was with the tackle.
And another one. Well, this is Wigan. Ratcheting up the aggression.
Cody Nikarima is out there. That ball goes to ground, but it's still alive. Little grubber kick. Moranta will chase. It's too long for him.
Well, that was
telling. Back in field, but in fact the ball had already gone out.
Well, Bill, that was telling. On that shift, the ball went to ground. I don't think the Brisbane Broncos players were too keen on getting a whack from the Wigan Warriors. And a desperate kick just behind the line.
What's that?
Incredibly impressive effort from Wigan. They're really taking it at them defensively. They worked their way into the game. Have a look at Tony Clubb here, and it's a decent call from the doctor. It's a responsible call. We saw the knock on the head.
I really think he's having to convince Tony Clubb that it's in his interest to leave the field.
He's enjoying the contest out there, Tony. He's enjoying what it's all about.
Well, they're bringing on a super sub in there, almost in the replacement. Lam Patrick Well, he was famous in his days at Huddersfield for coming on the field and scoring a try with his first touch of the field. Obviously, it's a head replacement, so it won't count as part of the interchange. Maybe Lam Patrick might just help punch a hole in this Brisbane defence and get them up forward.
6 points apiece. 3 minutes of this first half left at the DW Stadium in a bruising confrontation between two of the great names of World Rugby League. The Wigan Warriors and the Brisbane Broncos. Brisbane fallen on hard times in the last few years. Wayne Bennett back at the club he was so synonymous with in terms of success, to try and rediscover that. And this is really the first step in their campaign in 2015. Sean Wayne watching from the sidelines now. His side had gone toe-to-toe with the Broncos here tonight.
He's having a storm of Bateman. He is showing up everywhere. He just shouldn't be having that much energy out there after playing in the middle for what's going to be a full half. He's dead on his feet, but his courage has kept him through.
First, move one. Hold. Go.
Brisbane. It'll have taken it out of them this first 40 minutes. They haven't had anything in the way of a really competitive warm-up game. Training in London during this week, had a session at Salford. They haven't had an opposed session since they've been over here. Well, they've had plenty of opposition in this first 40 minutes. Justin Hodges tackled just inside the Wigan Warriors half. That's the fifth. Looking a little bit fatigued, the Brisbane side. A little chip kick over the top. Milford will chase. The ball's gone to ground. Oh, that is a bit rash. That is a bit rash. And they've got away with it. Holy moly, what are they doing?
They think it's a free play, I think.
That is
they could take the risk
tackle
on that, couldn't they? Had they lost the ball, there would have been a scrum and they'd have got possession back, but they did lose a bit of ground. Josh Charnley with the scamper. Now, in the last 60 seconds, Wigan got the energy to push on here and push through. Support the ball player, because I think a late offload, they're getting their arms free. There is the opportunity now with a tiring Brisbane defence. That late offload and a second phase attack.
Matty Smith now. Here is Williams. Williams for Bateman. Farrell. The Wigan Warriors try score in this first 40 minutes. Forward pass, though, disappointing end to that build-up from the Wigan Warriors.
Passes forward, yep. You just need one more, fellas.
And that'll probably be it for this first 40 minutes.
Time off.
I think some of the Broncos would have been happy at that, if the Hooters sounds now. They're content, I think, with their work for the first 40.
One heck of a contest, isn't it? Both teams really going at each other. The errors have been important, the unforced errors at each end. But both teams have seemed to handle that. You know, they've full respect of the defensive efforts of all these guys. The wonderful efforts defensively, obviously focus their off-season, their pre-season, their build-up to their games on being a strong defensive unit.
Hodges goes for the chip kick over the top. Bowen has read it and come across to claim it. Knew what was coming there, Matty Bowen. Read the situation very well. Liam Farrell. That is the last play of what has been at times bruising, brutal, enthralling first 40 minutes that has kept the crowd here at the DW Stadium on the edge of their seat, as will, I'm sure, the second half, because this is really evenly balanced at 6 points apiece.
Yes, a frantic first half on a clawing, cloggy pitch, and both sets of players here, I think, are feeling the pinch as that half-time siren arrived. It's all square, though, here at the DW Stadium in Game 2 of the 2015 World Club Series. 6-all, Wigan and Brisbane. Second game in the World Club Series 2015. Tight as a drum, it is. 6 points apiece, a try apiece. Farrell for Wigan, levelling up after McCulloch had gone over for the Brisbane Broncos. 6-all here at a packed DW Stadium. Now, Sean Wayne, beginning his 4th season in charge. Already he's won the Super League, the Challenge Cup, the League Leaders' Shield. He has a great passion for his club, more importantly for the game, desperate to win this. And Brisbane arrive in Wigan knowing that they have won both previous home meetings here in Wigan against them. In 1992 at Central Park, they won 20-8. 1997 in the ill-fated World Club Challenge, they hammered them by 30 points to 4. I don't think it'll be a hammering this time, though. It really is a good contest, fellas.
It's better than good, Eddie. It reminds you, forget about Club Rugby League. This reminds you of Test Rugby League. Brisbane Broncos, first blood to them. Tried through Andrew McCullough, gave them a 6-0 lead. Wigan Warriors a little off their game, John. Throwing that familiar shape that we've seen in Super League over the last few years, but not doing it as well as we would expect from them.
Yeah, very un-Wigan-like. We've got one set of clips to show you. But what I'm going to do is we're going to have a look at some opportunities that they have had. Now, the first one that we will show you at this point here, they've got a 3-on-2. So here's the 3 Wigan players, Matty Bowen, ball in hand, Gelling and Charnley on the outside. Now, they're opposite 2 different Broncos players. What Matty Bowen needs to do now is take this ball to the line and get himself in this position here and really commit the centre Whitchurch. He doesn't do that. He passes on straight away, and Whitchurch is able to slide off fairly easily onto Gelling. Missed opportunity number 1.
We would be more familiar seeing Wigan running what we call a block shape, isn't it?
Well, this is exactly what we're talking about here. Yeah, so this is the familiar shape. Matty Smith, they've got a front-line runner. They've got George Williams sat in the pocket there, and then they have their go-to man, Farrell. Now, the problem they've got with this, when you have a go-to man, and when you have such strong structure and such strong shape, there's a tendency perhaps to overplay that. And I know you said pre-game Milford was going to be a target, and he has. Hunt's also a target on the other side.
So up to this point, this shape is successful here. They've secured 10 Brisbane players inside 50% of the field. That will leave an overlap for Wigan if they can find it.
But you look at what they actually do with this on the end, because the ball comes out and an opportunity presents itself. If we just sit here, an opportunity presents itself now with Farrell's line in here. That could be potentially covered by Hodges. What you have got are 2 Wigan players down the bottom of the screen, completely unattended. My suggestion would be the ball would be here. Not so. And wasted opportunities. Now, they did end up getting a score.
They will persist with that shape.
Exactly, same shape. And they still had to work hard for it, though, Brian, because this is the thing. Same thing, out to Williams, work for the kick this time. Farrell gets very, very flat in that line. And they were good value for it. The frustrating thing, I think, from a neutral's point of view, Brian, is that Brisbane's attack was completely blunt. I mean, that partnership between Hunt and Milford, non-existent.
We have got one of those great rugby league slogs ahead of us, I think, for the next 40 minutes. This is a brutal game, and only going to get a little bit more brutal, Eddie, in the second 40 minutes.
Yeah, it's a cracker. Wigan chairman Ian Lenigan has gone on record as saying this week the series will end 2-1 in Super League's favour. Well, it's in Wigan's hands now to get the first win for the home nation on the board and then set things up for a massive decider at St Helens tomorrow. A lot of work to do in the second half, though. 6-all at half-time. Well, it all ends tomorrow, and it will end in a bang between South Sydney and St Helens at Langtree Park. As I said earlier, it is sold out. It has been for weeks. The atmosphere will be magnificent. If you haven't got a ticket, do not worry about it. Join us, 6:45, Sky Sports 1. We'll have the whole game and all the drama for you live. 6 apiece here at the DW Stadium, game 2. Remember, Wigan lost last year's World Club Challenge to the Sydney Roosters in Sydney, 36-14. Sean Wayne said then, it still hurts that they didn't show the Aussies their best. They have shown the Aussies their best tonight and some. 6-all. Phil Clark, what do the other stats tell us?
Well, they tell us that it was a very, very even first half. Look, the possession that Wigan had, 76 of them, each played the ball in those different parts of the field. They did get up to the opponent's try line 19 times, but only came up with 1 try. Now, we reversed it over and look at the Brisbane Broncos. They control the ball a little bit better than Wigan and have had a similar amount of it. Again, some good opportunities to score, but Wigan's try line defence has been outstanding. Let's hope that continues for the second 40.
Oh, Phil is still up there in the commentary box. Barry McDermott, Tony Ray are also alongside him. And Bill Arthur will describe a momentous second half. Golden Point beckons, Bill.
Oh, I think you could be right, Eddie. It's all set. It's 6 points apiece at half-time. Not a lot to choose between these two. You know, there's a bit of an old-school feel to tonight's game. We've got a massive crowd here. We've got a pitch that looks like a throwback to the old days at Central Park. We've seen some great players from Wigan's past out on the pitch before the game. We've got a contest that almost resembles an old-school heavyweight collision. And it's set fair for another 40 minutes of it, with nothing to choose as yet between these two sides. Good to see Tony Clubb back out there after that bang he took towards the end of the first 40. Looking to inflict some more damage. He's had a black eye, I can see, on the face of the former London Bronco. Up against the Brisbane Broncos here tonight. Wayne Bennett, their veteran coach, 65 years of age he is. He's up against the spring chicken Sean Wayne, just 50 years of age. The two of them steeped in rugby league history, of course.
Wow, what a kick.
Wow, came back in field.
A great chase as well, Phil. Can they get him?
Wow, Patrick, make a difference. That's what you've got to do when you're going as a sub. Certainly attempting to do that.
Jordan Carr who felt that. It's carrying on in the second half, similar tempo.
It's worth explaining that this pitch had snow covering it this morning, and in the area of Wigan, the ground staff particularly worked so hard here. The ball bounced, didn't it, in play, and it gave Lan Patrick the chance to come up with that big hit. Look at that, 4 men in the tackle. They are throwing as many bodies as they can here to try and inflict some pain on the Broncos. Got to make sure they don't get outnumbered, though, in defence.
There are quite a few first-choice Broncos, of course, back home on the last as Hunt kicks. No Darius Boyd, Jack Reed, Dale Copley, Corey Oates among those who've stayed at home to continue their preparation. That ball has been spilled. And it's a knock-on. The referee says we'll take the first, and it was committed by Wigan. Head and feed to the Brisbane Broncos. Not having a great night, Joe Burgess.
No, he tried to get on the outside of Justin Hodges, didn't he? And switching the ball from one arm to the other. You know what, this is the test of your mental strength, isn't it? Everyone can do well when they're scoring tries and playing well, but when you're not going well, mistakes are being made. Can you wipe those from your memory and get back doing to what you do best? That's what Joe Burgess has to do right now. Not easy, but that's his task.
Sean Wade would be particularly disappointed with that error. I think both coaches' messages would have been, listen, let's eliminate the errors, especially the unforced errors, own end of the field, and just get out there, get field position, put pressure on the game. That was, as you could see, a totally unforced error.
I think the referee was about to say crouch, touch, engage then. The players were standing around waiting for something to happen.
It's been clear, isn't it, with Brisbane, how they've targeted Joe Burgess. None of the ball gone to just to Josh Charnley on the other side, and I think they'll continue with that plan. Just to pick up the game and hope that his team pick up the defence here.
Good opportunity then for the Brisbane Broncos early in this second half to examine this Wigan defence, and Sam Thaiday doing just that. Customary no-nonsense run from him. Cody Nikarima now taking him on his own. Younger brother Jaden is also at the Brisbane Broncos. And here is Milford. Quick hands from Hodges, lovely hands from Hodges. Maranta, though, just had to stretch back for the pass from Whitchurch, and that just lost him a bit of momentum. But on the last, Milford puts the kick in, not a good one, and Matty Bowen will gather.
A great effort from Wigan, weren't they? They were stretched out on their right side of the field, but they got enough bodies just about in time to prevent them scoring, and now Dan Sargis is trying to get them out of that dreaded 20-metre zone.
Good initial foray from Sarginson there, the familiar step now.
And that's a stronger run by Joe Burgess. He's made 10 metres. You see them here, dragged across the side. That Bowen does really well, doesn't he, to stop that one first. He's a speed bump to slow it down and then get it back into position for the kick.
Here's Tony Clubb. Matty Smith, but Smith is quickly closed down by Alex Glenn. That's the fifth, and it's Clubb who has to put the kick in, and Clubb then looks around and says, well, what was I supposed to do? Because nobody else was interested. Well, that's a disappointing turnover from the Wigan point of view. Quick opportunity to get some half-time news from Rod Studd down on the sidelines.
And Tony Clubb is the key man, Bill, because as you recall, he was taken off just before half-time for concussion assessment. Dr. Chris Brooks, the Wigan doctor, satisfied no signs of concussion, and so he's allowed to go back on. Had he been concussed, they'd have had to use him a full substitution, and Tony Clubb would have been done for the night. He wouldn't have been allowed to come back on, so it could be key that there is no signs of concussion. Wigan pretty happy with the way things are going, and so are the Brisbane Broncos. It's an arm wrestle, really, isn't it, at 6 apiece? And what a brains trust, by the way, in the Brisbane changing room, with Wayne Bennett, Alfie Langer, Stephen Kearney and Kevin Walters all in there. So both sides pretty happy with the way things are going. The key is, of course, not to turn the ball over in your own area of the field. That's the message. Don't give the ball away and give the opposition field position on a pitch such as this.
Ben Hunt hoists that kick. Bowen comes for it, claims it. Sam Thaiday claims Matt Bowen. Had a shaky start to his Wigan career, Matty Bowen, when he came to replace Sam Tompkins, and there was some scepticism, I think, from the Wigan public, but he finished off having a great season for the Warriors, and suggesting that he might think of staying on if they want him. He's in the final year here.
Well, Wigan needed somebody to put the hand up here now. There was a lull, a little bit of lethargy, but Dan Sargent has got them going forward, and again they're trying that familiar pass play, but rocketed into the midriff of Lamb Patrick, and that'll be a scrum with the Brisbane getting the ball. They've started the second half, first 6 minutes, error follows error. And that cannot continue.
It's scratchy. For the high standards that the Wigan Warriors set themselves, the lads were talking about at half-time, that's Wigan's stock play, that's bulleted into the chest of Lamb Patrick. And it doesn't matter how good you are at defence, it doesn't matter what your philosophy is in terms of a side. When it comes to make those tackles, you can't do it all game.
6 points apiece in this second World Club Series game. Chance for Wigan to square the series for Super League. Chance for the Brisbane Broncos to put it to bed for the NRL after St George Illawarra Dragons beat Warrington Wolves in the first game. The Dragons will be on their way home now, and the Brisbane Broncos will be on their way home soon as this game finishes. In actual fact, they're on the bus and down to Heathrow Airport and on a plane first thing in the morning. So you've got to get the job done here.
One thing they've got to do to get their job done, it's a big part of Brisbane's season, in fact their history over the last couple of years, is to get the 7 and 6 combination going. As Phil just said, we're going to make 3 errors in a row, and it's up to Ben Hunt with the ball there, Jordan Carhu, to start trying to pull this Wigan defence open. Obviously Milford is in the 6th jersey, and they're just not combining well. It's just not getting through leads at all. They're having no joy in doing that, so it's been a touch of a worry for them so far.
Hunt, crossfield kick, the ball is batted up into the air and then batted dead by Matty Bowen, and goal line dropouts. Gelling taking a knock in the process.
Well, the Broncos have players contesting the ball, that's what made it so difficult. Wasn't just allowed to catch it clean, and as a result Bowen puts it over the dead ball line and Brisbane get the ball again.
This becomes a huge set for them, Phil, particularly for the halves here. I think they've got to have the opportunity to go through them. You've got to say we're going to be better at going through them. George Williams looked like he's going to sneak through a couple of times. Matty Smith's had the same. Milford's got to go at the line. He's got to challenge the defence to open it up. At the moment he's just shuffling it out the back and it's just not working for them.
Hunt claims the ball. Strong run. What a good run. And they're backing it up. Gave. The first one was from Joe Offengawe. And Brisbane trying to capitalise now. They forced the goal line dropout. Alex Glenn. Good tackle from Gelling, it was. Hunt. There's Jordan Carhu. He's not going anywhere. That's the 5th tackle, not really making much progress so far, the Bronx. So Ben Hunt goes to the air. Crossfield kick. Lachlan Maranta bats it down. Matty Smith will get there first for the Wigan Warriors.
Great defence, wasn't it? I mean, they've reduced Brisbane to just waiting for the last player. The kick, really, that's the best attacking option. They had men in the right place and they hit with the shoulders and they hurt one or two of the Broncos in those tackles. Again, there has to be better ball control here. You know, coaches talk about set completion, how many errors you make when you have the ball. Ideally, you don't want to make any, but in the remaining 30 minutes of this match, I think Wigan need to minimise their errors here to give themselves a chance.
Up to halfway line, Logan Tompkins, John Bateman. Really is slender, he's 15 stones. John Bateman, not that big, just a 6-footer. But he really does punch above his weight. That's almost a tempting kick. Good chase from Charnley, but they'll restart with a tap 20.
It's just a metre too long, isn't it, for Wigan? Josh Charnley doing his best to get there. Bit of a collision after that. But Matty Smith choosing to kick the ball into the snooker pockets. The Broncos work hard out of their own area.
Second move!
It's been a great contest.
Goal 2. He's back in.
Here's Josh Maguire going through the middle. Offload to Milford.
Milford. Couldn't get the pass away. Went forwards. Moranta was on his shoulder and he was away if that pass had stuck. But Milford, we haven't seen much from him. That was first real incisive break.
Well, they just speeded up the game, didn't they, for those 10 or 15 seconds. It got Maguire through the gap. Milford was slowed down and held eventually and lost it forward in relief. Well, you see the 1 or 2 Wigan players coming back in cover. That just goes to show they have focused, sending their big players down the middle and the support of the quicker guys around him. Big chance missed.
Anguish from the Samoan international.
Good reactions to the calls, lads.
Lachlan Moranta, grandson of Barry Moranta, very instrumental in the foundation of the London Broncos.
A terrific rugby league family. Barry did a wonderful job up here, and Lachlan's doing a wonderful job for Brisbane at the moment.
Second, okay,
Let off there for the Wigan Warriors. It remains 6 points apiece. You've got to wonder whether Brisbane's lack of preparation will tell on this very soft, draining pitch against a Wigan side who are 2 games into their Super League season.
Well, I think it's a lack of combination that's actually, rather than preparation, they're really struggling to get themselves together as a team. Oh, is it? Just watching Milford and Hunt, they just can't get together and get themselves in sync, and it's understandable.
Matty Smith, crossfield kick. Burgess manages to get the ball away.
Great effort. Great effort as a kick. One of the Wigan players got up for that one, but a full skill there. He didn't have many other options.
Sargentson who put the crossfield kick in the end, but nobody on the same wavelength for the Warriors. And it's Brisbane who bring it away.
They keep it very tight down in this situation. They probably need to just compress the defence a little bit, Wigan, because they're going through the middle.
1 or 2 gaps being exploited by the Brisbane Broncos there. The last one by Alex Glenn, who's just getting to his feet, hobbling a little bit.
Great tackle.
Big defence on the halfway line. That's the 5th tackle. Hunt steps out of trouble, gets the kick away. And Bowen will bring the ball back for the Wigan Warriors, but reception committee of 3 Brisbane players to meet him. Burgess, Charnley.
Move now. Go, okay, Aaron.
Wigan having to slog their way out of deep in their own half. Oh, Gelling has lost that ball. It's gone backwards. He breathes a mighty sigh of relief, I'd imagine.
Well, that is a big play, isn't it? And it looks like he's injured Gelling a little, or maybe just stunned in the tackle. We're going to have gone sideways on 2 players, and Dom Crosby just on the field has to make an impact and go towards the other set of other end of the field. It does go backwards.
It's Tony Clubb again.
5. Release now. Go, low back.
Matty Smith gets a kick away.
10 Wigan.
Good deep one, but collected by Jordan Kahu. And here's Moranta now. You can see this going to Golden Point, can't you? It is turning into a middle of the field slug.
Most of the Brisbane players put all their effort into the defence here now, and they're reliant on the outside backs, the ones who weren't making tackles a minute ago, to try and go forward and run with the ball. Thaide's got back and got involved, but you can see he's met by 4 defenders. Nil gain on that play.
Stopped on the Broncos' 40-metre line.
Go, play on. He's moved to the side. 3.
Ben Hunt. across the field. Here's Glenn again. Now he has found some space. He's looking for some support. He has got support. But Milford was cut down.
He's square.
Liam Farrell did well, didn't he, at marker? First it was Joe Burgess who came across in that cover tackle. They've held him out for 2 players. This is the last one.
Hunt kicks to the corner. The ball is bobbling around. And the referee will award the penalty. Wigan players offside, frustrated there.
Well, Joe Burgess did ever so well to get across and make that tackle. A bit of pushing and shoving, and Sarginson in the middle of it again. It's a great break from the Broncos. The ball goes up. It hits the chest of Dan Sarginson.
But just why is that a penalty? Because George Burgess appeared to be behind Dan Sarginson.
Burgess gets in front of him, so he puts all the other players on side. So, you know, it's hit his leg, so it's play on. Once Burgess gets in front of him, which he does there.
It's Sarginson.
Sarginson. So he's onside. No, that shouldn't have been a penalty.
Well, it is, and it's an opportunity for the Brisbane Broncos. To try and put some daylight between these two sides. Hodges, Maranta into the corner. And the Brisbane Broncos take advantage of that penalty. We think awarded for holding back as that loose ball was being contested. And on the other side of the field, 22-year-old Lachlan Maranta gets the Broncos' second try of the game.
Well, they haven't had many chances to pass the ball wider. They haven't taken many of them, but on this occasion, boy, they transfer the ball. I don't think this is a penalty. We'll need clarification. Who's held back? Who's infringed? I think he gave it for offside, but we'll find out in a minute. Then some pushing and shoving. We think the ball does go forward, but George Williams, the Wigan player who gets onto it, came from behind Sarginson. That should have been play on, in my opinion, but Wigan couldn't defend this. Look at the speed and the accuracy of the passes. The last one's the best for me. Look at that. A very accurate, fast 10-metre pass that just puts his winger in the corner. To transfer the ball from one side of the field isn't easy, and they do that at the highest speed for a really important score. Just takes the timing and holds in Josh Charnley for long enough to give Maranta the space to give the Broncos a second important try in this game. We won't get many. That could be the winner.
22 years of age, Maranta, seen at full back as well, and he has put a bit of distance between these two sides. And Corey Parker, after Darren Lockyer, the most prolific Broncos all-time point scorer, and just wide with that one. Wigan 6, Brisbane 10. Wayne Bennett up in the stands, watching a gruelling battle this is.
Well, it's been a sloppy start for Wigan in this second half. The third quarter, and really that try will give them time to have a bit of a gather round, speak to one another. They can't afford to feel sorry for themselves. They need to get back into this game. And that's just a reminder of the quality of Brisbane Broncos. They make any team pay for any errors they make.
I thought a significant couple of plays came from Anthony Milford. In the set before, he went at the line and gave a little short boy to Alex Glenn, who raced away, and they started to feel like Wigan were getting split open. Then he actually went to the line a bit closer, then gave the ball to Hodges, who's fed Miranda for the try. So Milford, that's real big news for Brisbane. If he's going at the line and attacking them and continues to do that, it's good news not only for this game but for their season.
Here are the Brisbane Broncos then, who lead by 10 points to 6 here. Sam Thaiday still going strong.
Go for outside.
And McCulloch puts a good kick in. And they'll just work at keeping Wigan Warriors down at that end of the field.
Well, they've got the big guns back on the field, haven't they? And Adam Blair and Josh Maguire, the two props who started the match, they're back on now, and they've been involved in that set. After scoring a try, I think the Broncos will be happy with that. We need a second effort here now from Wigan. I know here we're going to the final quarter. In Super League they've done well this season, but they really need to lift.
Keep reacting in the rocks.
Well, this is the second of 3. We've got the culmination of this World Club Series, the World Club Challenge game between St Helens and South Sydney. The champions going head-to-head. It's on Sky Sports 1 from 6:45 tomorrow. And this has been a bruising contest as well. This is the World Club Series. Honour at stake here between two clubs synonymous with Anglo-Australian challenges down the years. Williams pulling himself together. Crosby up to the halfway line for the Wigan Warriors, who really haven't got their act together in the second half. Haven't really threatened the Brisbane line.
Release.
Billy Boston here. Wigan great watching this contest. And this game, as did last night's game, attracting rugby league fans from beyond Warrington last night, beyond Wigan tonight. They've come from all over the country. In the hotel we were at, there were people from all corners of the country coming to see really great contests. Brisbane fans here as well. Amazing turnout when the Broncos trained at the AJ Bell Stadium, home of the Salford Red Devils. Several hundred people there, I think, to watch the training session. Many of them expats, Brisbane Broncos supporters.
Move, Dominic. Goal 4.
And Brisbane having the better of this second half. Justin Hodges, who helped create that Maranta try. Hodges plays the ball. Ben Hunt hoists the kick. Tony Clubb closing him down. Bowen underneath it, but Bowen is quickly closed down by Alex Glenn. Sarginson, really good evasive runner, Dan Sarginson.
Well, they just can't get an opportunity. Maybe this is it, isn't it, to get up over the half well, and they've been starved of a view of Brisbane's try line. They had some chances in the first half, but they haven't still made a clean break through this Brisbane line. They've made some ground, but not managed to split them.
Wait, Corey. Goal 4.
Gelling, and Gelling is struggling. He's picked up a knock, which he's carried on with, but he is hobbling back now.
Go.
Matty Smith puts the kick in, and Jordan Kahu just brings it back for the Brisbane Broncos.
Sorry, Barry. I was just saying 4 or 5 minutes ago, the Wigan team were just racing off the line and putting pressure, making Brisbane really work for it. They've obviously slowed right down at the moment. They really need a lift now. Without Sean O'Loughlin out there, it probably needs to come from, obviously, from the captain, and Tompkins needs to get in their ear and say, listen, we've got to lift it now.
Or John Bateman, he's their emotional leader at the minute. He's not only stepped into that 13 shirt as well, he's the barometer for this Wigan side, and it were very noticeable. A lot of the Brisbane forwards walking back. Phil, you picked it up. There's a knock-on. A little bit of tiredness there. Corey Parker, fantastic rugby league player mix. A very rare mistake. And it's the grind, isn't it? It's kick for kick, set for set, and who loses patience the first.
Big night for the Broncos trainer Tony Spencer, who is changing roles at the club after 27 years. He's just left the field in actual fact. They're changing the rules in the NRL, which requires trainers to be qualified medically from here on in, and Tony Spencer, who does everything at the Brisbane Broncos, he's groundsman as well, I think tends the club garden, is having to relinquish the role. So this is his last game in his role as trainer, and he's hoping, and the Broncos are hoping, to send him off with a victory. Well, at the moment they lead by 10 points to 6.
The Wigan side, they just need to start to go forward, don't they, before they go sideways. They're shifting it here, but there's a bit of space, but well covered, aren't there? There's no real threat on the defence. Just Josh Charlie to stay in the field.
That was a risky inside ball. He just threw it over his shoulder, really, Charlie, and then good defence from the Broncos.
And Phil, Bill, you talked about that session at Salford yesterday. I watched that session, and they practice defending long shifts. If you watch Wigan enough, you know that they're famed for long shifts. Nobody jumping out from the Brisbane defensive line. The system absolutely 100% safe on that occasion. You see Sean O'Loughlin, Wigan captain, we were just speaking to him, and he was saying he looks like he's going to be out for 4 weeks with a knee injury.
two weary sides, certainly two weary packs, taking their time to pack down here.
Steady on.
And again,
Down, boys. Not
a little bit of an altercation as that scrum goes down.
Out.
Weary sides, but tough sides as well. Like, I know we mentioned after half-time these conditions, but that's really heavy out there, and it's been a really physical opening hour. So now it becomes, experience kicks in now. We can see Maguire charging forward. Taide's been very involved in the last 15 minutes. He's been obviously using his experience nicely. Parker's been involved. Adam Blair carrying the ball forward.
Okay, George.
Really important time now that all the experienced players show their mark, show their control.
They're hitting harder, the Wigan Warriors, but they need some creativity as well as the destructive side. But they can't get their hands on the ball at the moment.
Hit and stick as well, Bill. It's no good throwing everything you've got into a tackle without the control.
Hold.
Maguire straight up the middle. That's the fifth tackle, and Milford, well, he kicked infield off the outside of his boot, but nobody was alert to the opportunity there in Brisbane colours. And Matty Bowen swept across to gather the ball, but Sargentson struggling to make territory. Farrell now.
Well, they do anything, I think, for penalty in the next 20 seconds, Wigan. Anything to give them a chance to get out of their own half. Territorially, they've just been choked at this end of the field, and the energy is visibly drifting from them. Probably the most aggressive competitor for Wigan back on the field, Michael McAlorum. He's as tough as Japanese knotweed, and he'll compete till the end, but they do need to get close to opponents' trial and to give them some lift.
Well, on the last, the kick from George Williams. Straight into the arms of Jordan Kahu.
Great effort. Now then, can that lift the crowd and lift his teammates? There's Stephen Kearney along here, legendary Kiwi player and coach.
Second, move.
Stephen Kearney, part of a very Brisbane Broncos, very experienced Brisbane Broncos coaching team now, assembled by Wayne Bennett. Well, he was at the club when Bennett returned.
Goal 3.
But a lot of changes at this Brisbane club as they look to re-establish themselves. Eliminated by North Queensland in the playoffs last year. They're not even top dogs in their own state. They need to put that straight to start with. As Hunt hoists the kick, Charnley comes for it and claims it. And Charnley, now then, would it open up? It doesn't. And there's another set two. As the referee whistles up. Phil Bentham just sort of, oh, come on, and walks away and leaves them to sort it out themselves.
We're going to have got to hope that they don't get penalised here for a late challenge on a kicker. That's the only scene I can imagine.
Well, I think it was John Bateman. He was certainly in the way. Does he block him? Well, he probably moves across.
It's not a penalty, Stuart.
Well,
it's not a penalty.
He can't move across in front of him.
He's not stopped when the kick takes place.
Well, he's taken 2 steps across to his right. He's got to stand still and let him run through.
You can't instantly stop at 66 minutes. He must be, you know what I mean? You're viewing it as if he's fresh. No, surely not.
Yeah, okay. John.
Oh, no.
This could be a crucial moment.
Yeah.
John Bateman is like a little Yorkshire Terrier.
Took him off the ball. Okay.
Snapping away. And the referee is going to confirm Phil Clark's worst suspicions and award the Brisbane Broncos a very kickable penalty. And Corey Parker has already got the ball in his hands, plonks it down, and will try and exact a 2-point penalty for that misdemeanour by John Bateman.
If he shoulder charged the player, I don't think he could knock him off his feet that easily. I don't know that's happened. Anyway,
do you think he's deliberately run into the player, deliberately thrown himself on the floor?
I think the Broncos player really needs to take a look at himself there. Going down that easily.
You're doing the minute, lads, as well, just to keep us on the ball.
No way John Bateman can push somebody over that simply.
Well, John Bateman asked the referee, what can I do?
Time off.
The answer is don't give him an inch. Wayne Bennett looking on, knows that this is a very tight, close contest.
Let's assume that this kick goes over, then I suppose the next challenge for Wigan will be the restart. That's what they've got to focus on. Now, when you consider how little ball they've had in this second half, Do they go for a short restart, or do they just play patient? In rugby league, the tendency is to kick it deep and allow your opponents to do that. But I think, Tony, the Broncos will just eat that up, get to the halfway line quite easily, because they're making ground pretty simply.
Yeah, with the clocks not totally against them, they go down deep. We've had a lot of errors in this game, and back into the field errors as well. So we're going to have a little bit of a break here now. So they need to be getting around themselves. Bateman's the key, as Barry mentioned. You know, rev them up and go down and actually bash them with your line speed. Really try and turn the game by attacking them in defence.
Corey Parker to put a bit more distance between these two sides. It won't be an insurmountable distance for Wigan, but it just makes their task a bit more difficult. Parker is on target, looking forward to that NRL season opener against Souths, because he's on 299 NRL appearances. Brisbane are on 12 points here tonight at the DW Stadium, leading Wigan 12-6 in this World Club Series game. And Wigan, the clock against them now as Bowen restarts. They need Brisbane to come up with the errors now. It's been Wigan committing the errors in this second half. It's cost them. And Brisbane have kept it simple.
But they need to be clean here. They can't give a penalty away.
I think the Brisbane forwards have been impressive, haven't they? They've just been charging through that middle, working off each other, really dominating the back end of this game.
Here is Alex Glenn. Wigan with an impressive home record, haven't lost here since June when Saints won. They've got some work to do. Oh, what an offload to Milford. Milford is away down the middle of the field, but he's got no support. He has now. But Wigan just managing to get back in the nick of time. And McCulloch couldn't carry on the break. But what an offload that was that set Milford away, and it could still come to something for the Brisbane Broncos, but in the end, Whitchurch's kick just lacked some pace on it, and they're able to bring the ball away, but not very far, because Charnley is cleaned out.
It was great recovery from Wigan. Firstly for the break to stop a try, and then later that with the kick through as well, but boy, they're under pressure again at the own end of the field. Crowd trying to do everything here to encourage the referee to award a penalty. They think the Broncos are offside, setting off too quick, but God, Wigan just can't get forward.
Brisbane doing a great defensive job in this second half. They've got Wigan pinned down. Tony Clubb was trying to do something about that. Little chip kick over the top from Matty Smith, but Milford read that one, and he's going to run it back at them. Milford up the middle. Will they catch him? Just covering across in the nick of time. It was Gelling who managed to get there, supported by Williams. Milford cannot get up now. Is that cramp?
I'll tell you what it was. It was tremendous commitment from Wigan. Anthony Milford coming more and more into this game, made his name as a fullback, and he supported that offload from Blair. He picks up that ball, slipping and sliding,
It is on his head,
and it's Gelling and George Williams that make that tackle. Was it just a twist as he was landing?
Thanks, mate.
There you go.
Tackle one.
The cherry and white shirts getting in the frame. They've got more tackles to make to prevent the Broncos from getting anything out of this possession.
Just saw Tony Spencer coming off the field for the Broncos.
Okay, mate, first tackle on you now.
But Milford is back on his feet. Seems to have recovered from that knock, and that break has put Brisbane in a good position. Will they perhaps go for a single point at this stage?
Probably not with 10 to go. They think they've got the numbers. Milford back inside to Hodges.
They might not need to. Moranta trying to avoid going around the back of his own man.
Well, he's been tackled straight away, so there's no advantage, so they're going to play on with that.
And in fact,
Wigan
will get the penalty. There's something else in there, I think.
Holding the tackler in, I think that's what he's saying.
Long looping pass for Bateman. John Bateman had to be brave then. Wigan have got to be brave. They've maybe got a chance to their arm now with 10 minutes to go.
Hold. Goal 2.
They've got to do something to break the shackles that the Brisbane Broncos have got on them with some terrific defence. Labouring on this heavy pitch, Wigan, to try and get some traction. Tompkins for Gelling. Great defence again. Whitchurch with the tackle. Joel Tompkins. Here's Matty Smith. He could hold the key, Matty Smith. Bateman. Sargentson ducks under the challenge. But then they get him at the second attempt.
They stretched the Broncos, didn't they, for all 5 of those players now? Then what's this kick like? Has he gone to find the side? He has. Oh, does it make it? Not quite.
Now they need a good chase. They've got to... Oh! Follow-up tackle from Sargentson.
Good effort.
And gets right back up. Wigan haven't given this game away by any stretch of the imagination.
Listen to the crowd again, trying to lift the Warriors for one last effort. Well, they're saying that tomorrow night when Saints take on South, it'll go up a notch. It's going to be some game if it does, and Milford holds his head. The fans sense the opportunity for the Cherry and Whites.
Supporters do everything they can here now to lift Wigan. The refs stop the clock. It's very hard here when your heart's beating through your chest to stay calm. But they need a calm mind here now, Wigan, to remember what they want to do in this situation. They will have practiced and rehearsed, starting a set from a scrum in their opponent's half. What in the 6 players are they hoping to do to exploit any possible weakness in this Brisbane defence?
They were trailing to the Huddersfield Giants last week in Super League, the Wigan Warriors, and they came good in the last 10 minutes. Ryan Sutton getting a winning try in the closing minutes of that game. Can they produce a similar sort of last-ditch effort here to take this victory away from the Brisbane Broncos, to keep this series alive as far as Super League goes? Because if Brisbane go away from here with the win, then they go away with the series as well in terms of the NRL. McIlorum. Here is Tompkins. Tompkins gets the pass away. Charnley, but Charnley is struggling to stay in the field of play. He's in touch. And just a lack of composure then. Brisbane players congratulate each other on great defence.
You can't always make the right decisions, and Wigan didn't on that occasion, did they? They almost had an underlap when they had more defenders than attackers coming this side of the field, and Joel Tompkins tried his best, and so did Charnley, who's not had a lot of opportunity tonight to show us what he can do. The frustration there. They only used 2 of the 6 chances they had to get themselves back level in the match, and they might not get many more.
And Brisbane in no hurry to pack this scrum.
I think the last couple of minutes have shown Wigan something. If they keep their eyes up, there is going to be a couple of opportunities. They have to go looking for them, but they're going to have to really earn them. Brisbane's defence there has been outstanding. You know, you said it was an underlap. It was an underlap for a reason. The Brisbane shirts are getting there in numbers, driving them into the sideline. It's not a coincidence in that. But this is what they want to do, Wigan. Keep going at them. Give yourself an opportunity to create an opportunity.
Brisbane on course for a 3rd win in Wigan. Wigan, of course, have won in Australia heroically in 1994. But Brisbane have come over here to Wigan and won in the town. And they're on course for a 3rd here unless Wigan can turn it round in the last 6 minutes. Blair. That's the 5th tackle. Wigan doing well to restrict them. They need to restrict the kick now. Hunt is closed down, but he gets the ball away, and Bowen will pick it up on his own 30 now. Matt Bowen looking for a firm piece of territory to launch the Wigan counter. Scrambles to his feet. Charnley coming in field to continue the work for the Wigan Warriors.
Well, just watch Mickey McIlorum. He's there at dummy half. Had a bit of a push and a shove with Adam Blair just on that last tackle. Need to keep the composure, Wigan. Make the possession count. He's another one of those emotional leaders for the Wigan club.
Gets the pass away. Now then, there's an opportunity here. There's a Broncos hand in there. Vito went for the interception. Didn't come off for him. And Wigan will get head and feet at the scrum.
And I think the play will give them some encouragement. They've still got the chance. They've shown with those players, if they get enough of the shirts running, they can trouble Brisbane. Get some gaps, get some chances, and then hopefully find the right pass.
They can't waste this opportunity. Threw it away, Josh Charlie got shunted into touch last time. I'm sure Sean Wayne will want his team to play out all the tackles, make the most of the possession, and even this game up.
Just over 5 minutes to go at the DW Stadium. Brisbane leading by 12 points to 6. Wigan with a chance from this scrum to counter. Here is McAlorum. Matty Smith. Bowen is in the line. But they're not going to allow him to do it again. He's done it to them 13 times before in North Queensland colours, Matty Bowen has. Can he do it for the Wigan Warriors? They'd love him to do that. Tony Clubb. 3 tackles gone in this set of 6. Brisbane back on their own try line now. The crowd behind them urging Wigan on. Here is Sarginson. Sarginson is stopped in his tracks. The ball is loose and it's in Brisbane hands. Great defence again. Vito picks it up and Brisbane might have weathered the storm here, but there's more storm clouds coming.
Well, Tony Clubb is playing like a club every time he gets near a Brisbane player.
And finally, after a few dress rehearsals, it's on. Somewhere in there is Tony Clubb, and it's still on.
Well, I didn't see anything wrong with the tackle, but
no, me neither.
I do think, though, Tony Clubb didn't need to push the fullback, Jordan Cahu, on the floor after he'd made it, and that's the objection from the Broncos players. Make the tackle fair enough, but...
Yeah.
I think the verbal abuse isn't needed.
I agree, Phil.
Right, we'll just take Mark's report first.
It's tackled, it's over. Get on with the game.
Second push in the face after the tackle.
Broncos players objecting to the afters from Tony Clubb, who has been very, very busy for this Wigan Warriors side. Really tried to bring some physical dominance. Great vigorosity from him.
Probably get penalised though here, and rightly so.
Second effort on the floor. That's the penalty.
Penalised for the second effort on the floor, pushing him back down again, but got overexcited. It's just robbed them of a chance there, didn't it, to really put the pressure on the Broncos. They can get the breath back and get away from their own line. They might just get the win.
I think on that, he was actually hold of the leg when he completed the tackle, so the tackle was complete there. If he hadn't had hold of the leg, he would have been perfectly entitled to complete the tackle by touching him, but it was complete before that.
It's just still discipline, though. There's nothing else. You can't sugarcoat it any other way. It was unnecessary. It can cost you.
Ferocious finish to this game. Well, it's been ferocious all the way through, really. Wigan trying to unsettle their opponents. There's still 1 or 2 things going on around the field. Milford and Matty Smith having a little discussion. Here's Alex Glenn. Be a shame if this one ended with the teams losing their discipline. Wigan frustrated really in this second half, and they're 3 minutes away from defeat here. Alex Glenn again. The Brisbane pack, has been mentioned before, have been really strong tonight.
Wigan are probably frustrated by their own mistakes, the errors that they made with the ball, because, boy, they've given it absolutely everything they could in this game. And the lack of possession in the second half, they only conceded that 1 try, and here's the kick through. Territorially, they're just under pressure constantly.
Matty Bowen calmly across there, but they've got 2.5 minutes now, Wigan. Still time for them to salvage something, but they're at completely the wrong end of the pitch, and getting away from their own try line has been a real struggle. But Burgess has got Burgess has got support infield. Williams is there. Burgess, Williams, back to Burgess. Burgess for the corner. Joe Burgess under the post, but he's got close. He's had a nightmare of a night. Up until now, the dream is still alive for the Wigan Warriors. Joe Burgess, whose mistake early in the game gifted Brisbane Broncos the first try of the match, has come up with the last try, perhaps, to give Wigan the chance to salvage something here, to take it to golden point.
Well, Joe Burgess has had moments in this match he won't want to remember, but he will not forget this. The big see you later in the face of the Brisbane defender. He has a decision to make. Do I in and out, or do I pass it inside to George Williams? He takes the second option, gets the 1-2 back, another handoff, and puts that ball and gets Wigan back into this game. We know the lethal pace of Joe Burgess when he's in stride like this, but it's the composure that impresses me. He makes the right decision, passes it back, stays alert, stays on board, and has the intellect.
Matty Smith eyes up those posts. The crowd willing this ball over. This to level the scores here at the DW Stadium. It's on its way. The crowd salutes a successful kick. 12 points apiece. And Matty Smith cheering his troops up. Brisbane thought maybe they'd done enough to see off the Wigan challenge, but Joe Burgess had other ideas. "17 seconds on the clock. Golden point beckons. Now then, does Corey Parker go short? No, they're not going to risk anything. Tony Clubb will run it back. I don't think Wigan will try anything dramatic. That ball has been spilled, but not enough time for Brisbane to capitalise on it. We're going to golden points. The players look to the referee just to check what the situation is. Match commissioner confirms that to the Wigan coaching team. And it's been a gruelling game already. And now we've still got to go that extra mile to try and settle this in golden point. Well, what a finish, what a story. Joe Burgess has had a nightmare night, really.
And his team's put him in a great position there, Bill. They've really worked hard to be able to get themselves in a position to fight out of this.
Well, Brisbane regroup, Wigan regroup, the players will have a breather, we'll have a breather and rejoin Eddie.
Yes, take the lozenges, boys, because you've still got a little bit more to do tonight, and so have Wigan and Brisbane. 12 points apiece after 80 minutes. And this the golden moment, Phil Clark. You were on your way down to the studio, you might have missed this.
No, I didn't catch most
after
of
the
it.
night he's had, Joe Burgess, this is the moment he'll savour.
It is, and you've got to hope, really, from a Wigan perspective, that the side that score last to take you into golden point, then have the momentum behind them. I suppose it doesn't always work that way. But he's done well, hasn't he? He's brought the ball closer to the goalpost to make the kick a little easier. And then it was a great conversion from Matty Smith. Under tremendous pressure, he knew the significance of it. And we're going to have to regroup. I do think that there's a buzz, though, in the ground and in the team here now, having scored that try. And this could go on to be one of the most historic performances ever. Joel Tompkins now verbally leading the side and reaffirming the messages that they've practiced this week.
Well, Sean Wayne said 12 months ago when they went to Sydney and lost badly, to be frank, that he was still hurting coming into this match, that Wigan hadn't showed Australia what they can do. They have tonight, there's no doubt about it, against a sensational Brisbane Broncos defence.
I think what they've shown in the second half is tremendous resilience, because don't forget, they made so many errors. They've made life difficult for themselves. They haven't even played anywhere close to their full potential. If they hold on to the ball and start to show what we saw with that Joe Burgess try at the end, there's every chance that the Warriors will make it 1-1 and win this game.
Why do you think Brisbane themselves didn't go for 1 point at 12-6?
It's a great question. I don't know. They probably don't have any players who are natural great drop kickers. But if you look at the pitch as well, I say it was snow covered this morning. The ground staff worked incredibly hard to remove that, and the ball won't bounce particularly well out of here if you are attempting a drop goal.
Well, who's your money on then?
Wigan, without a doubt.
Simple as that. It's Wigan for Phil. Well, this is going to be an interesting few minutes. It could be an interesting half hour. We never know in Golden Point whose nerve will hold. Brisbane to kick off this period of extra time. And I hope the boys have taken a drink, taken a breather, because the players have. Bill, see them home.
Well, we're ready to go. What should be a cracking finale to this game as the Broncos get this one underway in Golden Point extra time. And it has been a great night. It has lived up to expectations. Full-on contest between these two, worthy of the World Club Challenge itself. That to come tomorrow night. If it's half as good as this, it is going to be some conclusion to this series of games. 12 points apiece.
Third, move on through.
3 tackles gone. This pitch, very difficult. Finding a patch of dry grass is difficult. It's very muddy. Here is Bateman.
5, move.
And that's the 5th. Needs to be a good kick from Matty Smith, and Smith hoists that one. The former Everton footballer was on their schoolboy books earlier in his career. And his kicking was crucial, of course, to bring the scores level after that Joe Burgess try. Now Brisbane trying to work their way up the field into drop goal range for the point that they hope will settle this, and good run from Aranta. Almost up to halfway.
They're in the range. They're in the range now. 2 good runs.
Corey Parker, they can maybe go one more. They will do.
5, move now.
Ben Hunt dropping back. Hunt looking to decide it early on, but he screwed that one well wide of the target. To the relief of the Wigan supporters behind those posts. He got the distance, but well off target, Ben Hunt.
The ball goes back, and ordinarily Ben Hunt, I'm sure, would eat that, and it wouldn't be a problem. But there's such pressure. The players are exhausted. Will Wigan make enough territory to have their own goal at the drop goal? We'll wait and see.
Here is Dan Sargent trying to wriggle his way through.
Well, Brisbane just showed Wigan what you've got to do. You've got to find that 2 or 3, and we just found one there. 10-metre runs, quick play the ball, 2 carries here and there in range.
Here's Bateman. Oof, Smith adjusting, trying to take that pass, but they went sideways there. Got to go forwards. Here is Tony Clubb.
Now Wigan are in territory. Where's Matty Smith?
5, move.
They're better off going to the corner here.
Smith, will he have a go? He will. He's connected, but it's going to fall well short. So that's 1 attempt each. Neither side really troubling the woodwork. And Brisbane will resume from their 20. They are very, very tired, both these sides. Brisbane, of course, got to get on a plane tomorrow morning once they've got down to Heathrow.
They won't be bothered about that. It's imperative you don't give a penalty away. Who will crack? We've seen both sides, both have a go at possession. Brisbane on their 2nd set of possession, just chunking away, just knocking the set out.
Here's Maguire up to the halfway line, over the halfway line. Again, the Brisbane forwards doing good work. They have been outstanding. But Hunt kicks into the corner, making Matty Bowen come across. And look at the chase from the Broncos, pinning him in that corner. Sean Wayne down on the sidelines. Oh, Burgess has lost it! He's gone backwards. Sighs of relief.
That's what kick to the corners do in Golden Point. They put pressure on the whole team. We're tackle 3 now. We're going to 5 metres out. That could be the kick and the play that really puts pressure on this game. for Wigan.
They can't chance their arm. Not down there, Wigan. Slippery ball. Here's Gelling trying to find some space.
5, release. Nothing there.
That crowd clamouring for a penalty. Matty Smith will launch a kick. It's a good kick, but Daniel Vido has room to gather and then bring it back for the Brisbane Broncos. Good defence.
And there's only two Brisbane players behind the ball now, so Wigan can really stamp in. They can get up the line quickly. They've got to win these next two play the balls. They've got to find the energy now.
There are some tired Brisbane Broncos players out there trudging back to join in this attack. Sam Thaiday, eager as ever.
Move. Go.
Cody Nikarima. Now Josh Maguire.
Dominic.
Getting closer. The Broncos getting closer. Adam Blair.
5.
That's the 5th tackle. Hunt has stepped back. Milford has stepped back. He'll go for it. That one is too low. It's under. When I said they've got a plane to catch, I said they probably need to be at Heathrow at some point in the morning.
It's gripping stuff, isn't it? What warriors we've seen. It's so heavy, this field. It's so tough. Every collision's been massive. It's been such a tough game. What a great World Series this has been.
There will be two very weary sides leaving this field at some point in the near future. Gelling struggling to get to his feet.
These clubs have had such a rich history in this competition. We've got another one tonight, haven't we?
This will go down as well as another one. Logan Tompkins, but Tompkins almost had that ball stolen from him by Cody Nikarima. Bateman, Matty Smith, Bowen, Gelling now. Gelling puts a little kick in. Charnley will chase. Was that the wrong option?
One there, Josh.
Yeah, it is now. At the time, it looked like it was an error.
There's a mistake. A mistake from Maranta. Although the referee said it was knocked down deliberately. Head and feed for the Broncos. As we see Maranta just pop out. Yeah, Charlie's had a slap at it.
Yeah, he's played in the ball and knocked it forward. No option for the referee there. He's knocked it out.
Oh, the Wigan fans thinking that was their golden opportunity. Head and feed 30 metres out for their team, but it's not to be. It's Broncos head and feed at the scrum. Josh Charnley trying all the tricks in his book. That one didn't come off. So it's the Broncos again trying to work their way upfield to get within range. Joe Hengao.
Great goal, 2.
Here goes Ben Hunt.
3rd.
3 tackles gone.
Hold. Goal, 3.
McCulloch, Josh Maguire. 40 metres out, Brisbane. 4 tackles. Hunt with Justin Hodges, but they've gone wide as well. They've gone away from the posts. It's a difficult one, this. Blair. They're going to run it. They're going to run it. Milford. They've got the men out wide, but Wigan cover across. They've still got the men with Milford. Milford is going to try and wrap it up himself, but Charnley will manage to shovel that ball dead. But the Brisbane Broncos have got Wigan on the ropes here.
Well, you can't afford to give them an inch, the Brisbane Broncos. Everybody expecting a drop goal competition, but the Broncos chose to run it. And it's a dropout. Wigan will have to defend again. You have to say in this extra time period, Brisbane Broncos applying the pressure. Sean Wayne feeling every tackle, every second.
He'd love to be, wouldn't he love to be out there? Give me a shirt, he's saying. It's Matty Smith hoists that goal line dropout. James Gavay. Gavay is all wrapped up. John Bateman with the tackle. Bateman, who was named man of the match, he's in there again before the full 80 minutes were up. Specsavers man of the match, John Bateman. It has been a superb non-stop performance from him. He's in there again.
He must have run him close.
He's in there again, and look at this now. The Broncos getting closer, almost underneath the post now. This is the golden opportunity. Hunter's dropped back. Oh, it's even better. They've got the penalty. Wigan with a high shot, and it's Ryan Sutton, I think, who was the culprit.
I think it's Joel Tompkins who just collects the head of Corey Parker.
Oh.
And those are the millimetres in big games.
What a way to lose, as with Corey Parker's phenomenal kicking rate, you'd expect to be the outcome of this. What a way to give the victory to the Brisbane Broncos. This to settle the game then. Corey Parker, as I mentioned earlier on, second only to Darren Lockyer in terms of points scored for this club. But the high shot has given Brisbane the penalty, although Stuart Cummins possibly mystified by that.
Well, there's two things in there. The ball's come out, so I don't know whether it's been for a ball steal or whether it's for a head. There's certainly contact with the head, so it may well be for that.
As it is, it's a penalty. And Corey Parker, surely it's a formality for him. This to settle what has been an epic contest between these two sides in golden point extra time. Gelling has charged it, and Gelling will get the sin bin. Well, that was crazy from Anthony Gelling. What was he thinking?
It's almost funny.
Well, I've never seen that before.
It's almost funny. It's ridiculous.
The wrong type of rugby, I think, there. You can't charge the ball down. The Wigan defence are only about 5 metres away from the ball anyway. They should be back behind the goal line.
And the touch judge is belatedly getting them back there. But what?
Well, at least we've seen somebody in the sin bin in this competition so far.
For something bizarre like that. We've seen umpteen high shots.
You've been sarcastic, Stuart.
Not at all.
Well, this is a shame that this contest is going to be ended in vaguely farcical fashion by that. A shame that it's come down to this. In fact, it at one point would have been a good conclusion. But Parker composes himself. I don't think he'll see anybody else in cherry and white rushing out to try and charge his kick down. The Wigan fans trying their best to put him off. And this to settle this World Club Series game in the favour of the Brisbane Broncos. He does just that. It has been a full-on contest once again between Wigan and the Brisbane Broncos, and the Broncos have won it by 14 points to 12.
Yes, they have, courtesy of the Corey Parker penalty. An absolute nonsense with Anthony Gelling, but still, it's 2-1 to the NRL in the series. Tomorrow, we'll find out who are the World Club champions at St Helens. From us all here at Wigan, great night, great game, good night.